is the Race4 claims and overweights. 1 Bebop, there's no claiming 2 kilos. 9 Norman, CK Ong, -3. 10 Poets Riker, -2. 11 Impresario, -1. And 12 Jumping Jack, +1 for N Juglao. And the first horse we're going to look at is Bebop for Mr. Takioka. Drawn gate 1. Ran first place in 11 starts. Last start over 1,400 metres. Being from the astute Takioka stable, you think the mile might see some more improvement. 64 and 23 for a last start placing. Again, we'll keep an eye down for the 2-year-olds down the bottom with no weight. Bebop is a 3-year-old, New Zealand bred gelding.
Certainly is, Larry. $63.
Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you very much.
I was wondering when you jump in.
Oh, I'm here, don't you worry. Next up is number 11. This is Impresario, 196 and 48, and I think it's probably fair that this one needs to lift.
Yeah, only battled to date and pretty hard to have. It's a Japanese filly, so it gets a little bit of a weight relief, but drawn wide and hard to have on what we've seen thus far. Indeed,
the form would leave that little bit to be desired. There is Impresario, the mount of CC Wong, who's already had a winner. Here he's in conversation with Hideyuki Takaoka. And this one drawn out in gate number 10 here for race number 4. The favourite is the 4 here at $12, Alan Mack. So we can move on to the next one very shortly. As we get a good look there at Impresario, who we're going to pick up next as our cameraman pans around the parade ring. Looks as if it could be the 3 here, and this is Lim's Rhythm. Ryan Coratulo carried these colours to success in the 2-year-old race on Friday afternoon, and funnily enough, Larry, this is the horse that provided him with that injury back on May the 4th.
Yeah, so it was good to have a chat to Ryan about the process after the injury. Was it 5 weeks? 5 or 6 weeks? That
I think he was told 6 or 7, but he got back in 5, yeah.
Okay, and he was pretty happy with that, with the work of his physios, I guess, where he had some Chinese medicine. So he was very happy. And good to see he had a win.
Absolutely, he didn't just have a win.
Now, what about this horse? Gate 12, that's an issue, but placed over this trip last start on the poly. Should be running on, so this course will suit.
Certainly will. Certainly will. Here's number 8, Call It, Craig Grills and Steve Burridge. Steve Burridge, who trains Lim's Lightning. He's got the $152 chance here. Yeah,
ran on stoutly despite the wide gate last start. So it gets gate 5, which is handy. And that was its first try last start over 1,600 metres. So I'm expecting it to sort of be thereabouts. It's 153 and 33. So I reckon that's a terrific price for a horse that wasn't that far away last start.
Indeed, no, he wasn't at all far away, to be honest, in 4th by New Sensation. New Sensation beat him a length on that occasion. Call It, the grey, just a little bit on his toes in the parade ring, but certainly not doing too much wrong, and he's going to be racing from gate 5 here in race 4 this afternoon. We'll Call It. Let's move on and find another one for you. Number 9, Norman, is the next one we're going to see on parade here. Norman, we've got Larry and Norman in the same race here. What do you make of Norman, Larry?
I like Larry more, but Norman's, it needs to improve on efforts to date, and it's drawn out a little bit wide, so others make more appeal.
They certainly do. He's not the biggest in the world, is little Norman. You can see he hasn't got much of a tail either.
No, it's a foxtail.
Not quite sure absolutely. Not quite sure what the issue is there, but this is start 5 coming up. He's a big price, and CK on the apprentice rides for ZL Mock. There is Norman, the son of Duke of Marmalade, out of Lady Naomi. As we move on to the 10 here next, this is Poets Riker. Now this horse found massive improvement from first to second start. Stable apprentice Amaral riding for his boss Stephen Gray, and he's had the benefit of a recent trial as well.
Yeah, so just missed last start, as we saw on the replay. The interesting thing from that replay, which we didn't know when we were doing track talk on Thursday, was the fact that New Sensation's gone out to win again.
Indeed.
So that form's going to hold, well, that form has held up. $869 on that last run. He's not that today. He's 54 and 15, but you've got to include him.
I think you do. You certainly do. That was a much improved effort last time out, and clearly is a horse I think that's sort of learning on the job, as it were.
Plenty of new owners down here. There's a big crowd in the parade ring.
Yeah,
Michael Clements looks like with his...
Could be the Amazing Stable. And the Amazing Stable, in fact, owned this horse. This is Alamac. Vlad Jurek and Michael Clements combining 12 and 5.1. He's short.
I thought it was a toss-up between Turf Princess and Alamac for favourite, but Alamac certainly got the money, 12 and 5.1. And it's improving with each race. We'll be running on, Jurek to ride, gate 2, so every chance. And the punters haven't missed him.
No, they certainly haven't. There is Alamac, a couple of handlers for Alamac there. And he is the short price favourite at this juncture. As we move on to the next one, this is number 5, and this is Larry.
Yes, I'm not sure what Larry means in Malay, but I remember when we had a horse running with, we had Larry Cassidy on and myself and Laurie, and it was sort of run or something like that, but it's obviously not Jalan. But anyway, Larry, named after the mare, which was Larinka. I have no interest in this horse whatsoever. Stephen Gray trains. He must have had a smile when we named that, knowing that I may be up here at some stage. Its form reads just fairly, 6 and 6, but... and it's drawn wide, but it ran on well against the bias last start, and I'm thinking he's a good value option, 91 and 25. Haven't got him in my top 4, but I'll be including him in a quartet if I was having a quartet with a flexi quartet.
So Larry would be included for Larry, our very own Larry Foley there. Here's number 6, Turf Princess, Olivier Placé running for Lee Friedman. She's 18 and 6, and she comes into it on the back of 2 very good efforts here. Yeah,
now this is the horse that I've got on top. Narrowly beaten at past 2 outings. Funny enough, it had. I was going to speak to Lee Friedman. It had epiglottic entrapment last start when just being beat. Normally that they'll finish well back if it had an issue. So obviously it wasn't a big issue, and it would have been looked at. Improving, distance suits, and hard to hold out. So she's right. She's hard to beat.
Yeah, she's going to have every chance here on the back of 2 very sound runs. She's been beaten a half a length, respectively, in both of them. And she looks well placed here to run well. The daughter of Dahlia Poor, whose relations have got up over a bit more ground as well. Here's number 7, Majestic. Benny Woodworth, second in our previous for trainer David Cock. They combine here with Majestic, 94 and 20.
Yeah, only battled in a non-Premier Class 4, but ran on fairly at his previous outing. So he's going to... this race is more to back in restricted maiden company, so could improve.
Yeah, I think he'd certainly need to. Majestic, the son of Mies and Mast, but his runs prior to his last run were okay. Finished off quite well behind Auspicious Day, which was a really good run, and that might well bring him into the equation if you want one at a bigger price. Might well be including Majestic in this. Here's number 2, Smooth Operator. Byron Vorster is the man that gets the leg up here. There's a few gear changes, blinkers on first time, the pacifiers off, the special bits also come off as well. That was a rubber ring bit, and it looks like Byron's going to jump on him in the saddling stall here, Larry.
Yep, if Larry was named after me, Smooth Operator, watching you last night, named after you, racing fairly on the poly, recent trial was solid, steps up in trip, gets onto the turf, so there's ticking a few boxes here with the blinkers.
Yes, he does. And
enough changes to think that he could improve,
Yeah, look, he'd need to. I thought I was a little bit let down by him in his run there when which one was it?
Fourth to Triple Trio.
The fourth to... No, not the fourth Triple Trio. I thought he was... yes, the fourth to Triple Trio I thought was a little bit disappointing. Here's number 12, Jumpin' Jack. Now, rarely do we see a 2-year-old up over this sort of ground, but that is the case in question with this one. Naresh Jaglau has got down to the lightweight, 190 and 43.
Yep, and this is an Australian-bred 2-year-old, the Shirtlift stable for Ricky Lagrange. So we mentioned Ricky's got quite a few handy 2-year-olds in his stable. I'm not sure this is one of them, but obviously they've put it over the mile for a reason, so good luck to them.
Yes, indeed. This horse, who's by Smart Missile, he was a 6 furlong winner, but this horse hasn't really shown a great deal of pace. So
we gave the 2-year-olds a good push in the previous race, just that weight factor.
Yes.
So,
Oh yeah, look, I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, he's got next to no weight. He receives upwards of 3 kilos from his rivals here. Favourite is Alamak here, heading out the 4, 12 and 6. Now 11 and 6 is his quote, so he's hardening all the time here as runners begin to file out of the parade ring. So another really fascinating restricted maiden here, Larry. What are your numbers, please?
I'm going to go for 6, Turf Princess, and I thought it was a race in 2, Alamak second on form, and 8, Call It, and you've got to like the odds on that, 109 and 21, and I'm going to throw the 1 in. There was enough to like about the 1, 2, so 6, 4, 8 and 1.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. I'm going to go with the 6 as well here, Turf Princess. I've actually made it my best of the day, so hopefully that won't be too much of a burden on her.
It's going to carry the extra weight and your expectations.
There's a lot of that, I can tell you. Turf Princess on top over the 4 Alamax. I've got the same 2 there in that order as Larry. Poets Riker, the 10, I've put him for third. I say he had a recent trial. His recent trial, in fact, as recent as the 12th. So that was back on Tuesday. He had that trial. He ran 4 for 5 behind Stormtrooper. And
I probably should have thrown him in for 4th just on that, but
okay.
I'll stick with what I've got in the book, 6, 4, 8 and 1.
6, 4, 8 and 1 for Larry. I'm going 6, 4, 10 and 2. Smooth Operator is the one I've put into 4th there with the gear. I did think the trip was questionable for him, though. But that said, he gets onto turf, mint lane. You might just be up to running okay, I thought, in this race, and maybe the trip might bring the best out in him. Perhaps it's not necessarily, all clear cut as far as pedigrees are concerned and such. 6, 4, 10 and 2. 6, 4, 10 and 2. And well, the English-speaking broadcasters, we seem to think that Turf Princess is home and hosed, and our colleagues next door in the Chinese booth, they think the other way. They think Alamak is the one that's going to get the money here. Both Li Ting and Ray going with the 4 on top over a little cluster of numbers in behind. 1, 3, 6 and 10 all included for them in the picks for placings as runners begin to make their way out onto the track. We're on the turf for this one, over 1,600 metres. So the start in the chute, and they will link up with the course proper after about a furlong or so, and then they will race on down the back and cover the 1,600 metres here. So interesting race this, Larry, as we head back downstairs to you. There's a look at the runners filing out onto the track, and the favourite here is at 11 and 6 and very solid, and just going the other way now is Turf Princess out of 21.
As we suggested, it may be a race in 2, but you've got a Poets Riker if it can show what it did last start. It was interesting with Smooth Operator, which you threw in, with the blinkers added over more trip. Often it's the other way around when horses are dropping in distance or they want to sharpen up, they'll throw the blinkers on. So it'll be interesting to see if they go forward on him and stepping up to the mile. That's the 5 we're looking at now. Bit of a cheer from the crowd. I'm not sure what that was about. Must be a race from...
I'll tell you something. There was a huge cheer go up as they were running the Class 5. I don't know what was going on downstairs, but they seemed to get a cheer the whole way round. It was quite unprecedented, really.
I'm not sure why, but it's a racing from Malaysia. Looks like the Penang Turf Club by the looks of it. Race just finished, so race 4 selections from Nick. 6, 4, oh, it was mine, 6, 4, 8 and 1. So we've gone similar again. We had a bit of a interesting... a lot of our selections were very similar, so which is often good and often okay. Well, let's say we both have a good day. But we both put the 6 on top here, and she's the second favourite at 20 and 7, and the money's still strong for the 4, 11 and 7. Just a shade over even money for Vlad Jurik's mount of Alamak. 3-year-old New Zealand bred gelding, gate 2. So it ticks a few boxes. They had plenty of owners here. That's always a good sign. Michael Clements is training very well, 17.8%. That's 18.4 for Michael. Vlad's on 17.8, so there's a few high percentages there, which all bodes well for a good run. Turf Princess, gate 7. Oliver Placet's riding for Lee Friedman. And she gets her chance as well. Just have a look to see if anything's moving as the horses that are on the betting. Any horses that were out a bit further that are coming in. Nothing down the weights. Pretty solid. The 2-horse Smooth Operator. Again, Nick threw it in and it's come in the betting. 70 down to 50. So that's a bit of a push. The 3's drifted a tad, as has the 5. The Fave and the Turf Princess have been pretty steady at 12 and 20 respectively. And again, nothing really jumping off the page as far as late money. 8, 113 into 76. Let's call it, which a few people have put in for the minor places. So gate 5 helps. Craig Grills rides for Steve Burridge. Both had a winner on Friday. Not the same winner. They can combine today to knock in a win with Call It. I don't mind these maiden miles. It's a good opportunity for horses that maybe lack a bit of early toe. Plenty of poly races over 1,000 metres, which is a good way to start your racing. But obviously a few of these have gone, okay, we might need a little bit more ground. 1,600 metres on the D course, short course. That's should be a fairly even race as far as horses will be running on. Should have every chance. But we'd expect the 4 to be running on very, very, very strongly at the end, as will the 6. From the good gate, you'd imagine the 4 gets every chance. Vlad Jurek will just have him ready to pounce at any stage. Turf Princess from gate 7, much the same. They can both race handy enough to have a few options. Couple that'll get back. You would imagine Poets Riker wasn't far away before it ran home at long odds behind New Sensation. So it'll be interesting to see how Amaral rates him today. Couple of horses that'll get back. Hopefully they run on like Majestic. Larry's probably the one that's going to be running home at odds. Let's have a look at his odds. 5. He's been steady at 96 and 21. Well, we must mention our friend Suresh from Malaysia, who's thrown him in for a bit of an omen bet. But I think Suresh is not the type to throw in just an omen bet for fun. He would have.
No, he's certainly not wide of the mark, I don't think at all. He's made out a good case for him. He can run well. Yep.
No, I think this race suits, and certainly throw him in for your quartets. Getting into a handy win pool, not far away from the start. Not sure if they'll have the volume up, but hello to everyone at the Davalac, South Beach Hotel down in Fremantle. Do we pop in there for a beer when you were down, Nick?
I can't remember if we did.
That was where the horse was training on the beach. That's the closest establishment to that.
It was far too early. It was coffees only.
We had a coffee that morning, yes. Yeah. Plenty of coffee places along that street. I'll give you the drum. So the 4 remains favourite. The 6 is coming in slightly to 19, but been relatively steady around there. That's Turf Princess. So not a lot of change with the market. Smooth Operator into 53. 10 Poets Riker at 50. $4, which is about 10 to 1. Given last time it went off at 100 and something to 1. 200 to 1. Crikey Moses. It was long odds. You would like to have a ticket on that. Get a bit excited. And as we said, that form's been franked on Friday night. So if you're on the 10, you should have every chance. I think they're just starting to call him up from the front. We're just watching a horse. Looks like he's got a few helpers going into gate 6. I won't try to figure that out with the... You're better at the colours than me, Nick. But there's a couple in.
I think that might have been Turf Princess, actually.
Okay, yep. In one from 7 to 6. And they're slowly loading in at the, perhaps the best start on the course, right out the back, miles away. No late money, the 10, the 2 and the 3. The 3, there's a little bit of money for Lim's Rhythm into 55. So it's been fairly steady. Just waiting for any late push on the fave or the second fave, but she's steady. Turf Princess at 19 and 7. And the 4 has been very, very steady at 12 and 8. So unless there's a late plunge on either of the faves, Alamac will start favourite at a shade over even money. The 6 is 19 and 7. I reckon we can head up to Nick. Well, it looks a little bit wild behind there, but we'll head up to Nick anyway. He's got a better view than me.
Thanks very much, Larry. We're down to the last few here. $13 the favourite, Alamac. 19 and 7 about Turf Princess. They just had to convince her to go forward into her barrier stall. Lim's Rhythm coming in next. And looks as if Larry will be perhaps the last one to come forward here. Not much room behind the stalls here for this start, so the loading process is always somewhat obscured. Larry's going in towards the outside post position. 1,600 metres the trip here. $13 the favourite. Last handler's out of the way. Bit of movement in the machine. Just about set. And they're off. For Offen Racing, the maidens are away over the mile, and Bebop a little bit slow away from the start, and Larry from his outside gate's going to drop to the tail with Empresario. As getting out quickly with Smooth Operator and Alamac in the beige jacket to go forward. Smooth Operator throwing his head up in the air. He wants to reef and pull for more rain. So to a little bit keen in third is Turf Princess, linking up with the course proper with Jumpin' Jack on the outside, the 2-year-old. Then we've got Majestic in the blue, yellow and white set of colours from Bebop. Call It the grey is in midfield. In behind Call It then towards the outside is Norman as they begin to run then towards the end of the back straight. In behind Norman we've got Larry, Empresario, Lim's Rhythm, and also Poet's Riker is in midfield as well, just obscured in the dark black and gold jacket as they race then towards the end of the back.